Thanks for joining us on the John Mendola Show. We're driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Let's talk Lackawanna Trail Lions football. Steve Jervis, the head coach, joining us right now. Well, Steve, you lost some talent from last year's team, but at a small school, you're hoping to replace it, get it going. Not much back on offense as far as starters, but let's first start with that offense. You really lost some guys, but tell us about some of these younger guys that are going to have to step up and play a big role this year.
Well, first of all, John, thanks a lot for having me on. Yeah, last year I think offensively we had one of the better groups we've had in a while at Lackawanna Trail. It's a good mix of being able to run the ball, throw the ball. We had some good backs out of that who caught the ball very well. So definitely some big shoes to fill. One guy we do have returning is our tight end, Steven Sosha, who's a big target for us at tight end. He's a very bright kid. A lot of people don't realize tight end is a tough position in high school football. Those guys have to learn basically everything that the offensive linemen are being taught, all the run schemes. Then they have to learn all the pass schemes. We have a lot of play actions built into our offense. So anyways, it's nice to have a tight end coming back to that. It takes a long time to really work on getting a tight end. So that is a positive for us. We have to replace Vic Mallard, our quarterback. He's a back-to-back 1,000-yard kid. So, and we have two kids right now that are kind of working at that, and Tyler Boltersitis is one of those players. He's a junior, good wrestler, good competitor. He's been starting for us actually since a freshman on the defensive side of the ball. So he's been around. He understands the system. We also have a freshman coming into the program who we're excited about named Nathan Rolka. His older brother plays for us. He's a good player on both sides of the line for us. The dad was a heck of a ball player back at Lakeland. So Nathan, we're very excited about him. He's a 6'2", 275-pound kid, only coming in ninth grade. Real bright, intelligent kid. So between those two, we're going to work out the quarterback position. And then, I'll tell you, some of the backs we have, even though they weren't starters last year, all three starters last year we had were seniors, are good players. Rocco Pacini will be taking over for Cooper Roshak at one of our halfbacks. One of the hardest working kids I've ever been around. He's a 5'9", 185-pound kid, but just runs really, really hard. Our fullback has potential. He's a junior, Thomas Huffsmith. He's about he's like a 5'10", 215 type of kid, which is exactly what you want in the wing team. He's tough to see in the backfield, but very, very hard to tackle. And then our other halfback, which Ross Farquhar last year had a heck of a season for us at catching the ball, running the ball in. So we're expecting the same out of Anthony Barrios, again a junior. He really has worked hard in the off season. He really shot up. He's about 6'2", 180, and probably one of our fastest kids.
We're talking Lackawanna Trail Lions football here on the John Mendola Show. We're driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Coach, you mentioned some of these guys coming back on the offensive end. How about on the defensive end? You have a little bit more experience there. Tell us about some of the guys that have done well over summer workouts and in that weight room.
Well, without a doubt, when we start looking at our defense, we always start, from the ball outward for us. We really want to work on making sure we have four guys on the D line that can control the line of scrimmage. And again, we graduated two big bodies, Evan Sandercock, Jordan Hannon, in the middle there. So, we're looking for some kids to step up there, to be honest with you. Nick Rolka did play some defensive end for us last year. We're going to move him down to three technique. He's 6'2", 250, worked very hard in the off-season in the weight room. Very intelligent player, which helps with that three technique. At the other nose guard position, Sean Jones is only coming in as a sophomore, but again, a big-bodied kid. He's 6'1", 240 pounds. Yeah, his uncle is Mike Munchak, who's right now coaching with the Steelers. So we're excited about having him playing for us too.
Well, it's nice having a little bloodlines there when you have Mike Munchak as your uncle, that's for sure. You also have some other guys that you hope to step up this year. Tell us a little bit about Trent Phillips, what you expect from him this year on both the offensive and defensive sides.
Well, I'll tell you, coming back, if you said, which player has improved the most throughout the program, Trent, what a great kid, hardworking kid. His brother was a great player for us last year. Jerry played defensive end and fullback for us. Trent has just, evolved into a heck of a ball player. He's a legitimate 6'3", 210 pounds. He's lean but very strong, a good wrestler. He had a great wrestling season last year. So he's one of those kids. Not only I think could have a very, very have a great year for us. He's one of those kids that could play at the next level just because of his frame, could handle probably another 20 to 30 pounds. We're going to be using him as a defensive end, and we'll flip-flop him around a little bit. He's definitely a kid that's very difficult to block. And on offense, I mean, he's one of our guards, which, we run the wing T. We've had to look for, our guards are really, really, really important to us, obviously. So, on the other side, the other defensive end would be Rocco Puccini. Again, he's a kid that we're just looking for a tough kid at the other defensive end position, and Rocco kind of fits that mold.
We're talking Lackawanna Trail Lions football here on the John Mendola Show. Steve, what are you hearing about the league and some of the teams you're going to face this year? As always, there's always good competition out there, but you hope your team's in the mix again.
Yeah, I tell you, John, I said it for a long time. The Lackawanna Football Conference, good players, good coaches, good programs. Single A in our league. We have a couple of doubles too. But I think you gotta mention Old Forge first. They're kind of last year we had a heck of a ball game with them right down to the wire in the regular season, and we were kind of hoping to get another shot at them in the district final. It just didn't quite happen. But Mike does a great job with those guys. So I think they're going to be a team to beat. I think Carbondale, Coach Gabriel does a great job up there. They have a lot of young guys started last year, and they were talented. And a lot of those guys are returning. I think they have a good program coming back. And Susquehanna, I think they kind of quietly do it, but every year they're competitive. I think you got to give Coach Cook a lot of credit. Coach Lucas, his defensive coordinator, they're always in the mix. You know what I mean? So, and I think Mid Valley, you never know how Mid Valley can be. Montrose is improving. I think, by the end of the year, they had they played some pretty tough games on the stretch. And I'll tell you, Holy Cross is always, they always play us tough. And I think Josh does a great job down there. So I think top to bottom, it's going to be another competitive season. To make sure it all works out.
Well, I know you're working hard there at Lackawanna Trail, Steve. You guys are doing a nice job yourselves, so credit to you and your staff, and look to talk to you somewhere along the way during the season, okay?
That would be fantastic. Thank you so much, John.
Steve Jervis, Lackawanna Trail Lions football here on the John Mendola Show. We are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers.